hi Emma. I thought I'd do you another sort of visual video presentation just before we do final sign off on this, because there are a few still just a few little niggles, and I thought it kind of made sense to me to go to a 3D model so that we can sort out these levels. And I just really want to make sure that you're absolutely happy before I go to final plan. So I've been messing about. Sorry it's taken a couple of days to get back to you. I've been messing around with this for a few days. It's such a complicated little garden, yours, with all the different angles and the buildings and the walls and whatnot. So it's taken me a little while to get to this stage to sort of get an accurate representation of the space. But I'm happy with this now, that I've got a proper model of the space with the right angles and everything, so that we can really see how this is going to work. So this was the kind of outstanding issue, really, was the issue of kind of the wall and the heights and things. There is a little bit of give and take and a bit of playing with this once we actually get to build stage, always with levels, unfortunately, but we can sort of give it our best shot of what we want to achieve. So obviously we know that there's a height difference from the back of the door down to this corner and to the back here, and we're estimating at about 45 to 50 centimetres. So I'm suggesting that we're coming down 3 steps to this area, and that we're going to try and level off the garden as much as possible, just to get rid of the slope completely. So what in effect that does is creates one nice big level sort of lawn area, and then of course we have to retain that somehow to sort of drop down to the fence level. So you're absolutely right about this kind of wall coming around and it being at a height above the soil level, because the existing soil level is here at the bottom here, and we can't breach the fence line, and we also can't breach the damp proof course of somebody else's garage or this garage over here. So we absolutely have to keep this soil level kind of down to where it is. And I did have in mind that it would all be sort of contained with a kind of walling going all the way around. First of all, we were going to have the bench, and what I did have in mind was sort of bigger planting and sort of shrubs and things that would sort of spill over the wall and have some height to them, that we'd have quite big shrub in the corner and perhaps a multi-stem tree in this corner, and it would be quite sort of tall, because once you've got your furniture in there as well, let me just pop that in. I've just sort of mocked up a little sofa set here. Obviously once you've got your furniture in as well, you've got some height and you've got your backrest. And also you've got the height of our hedging in front. So since your comment about the sort of ground level planting and putting in little tulips, I thought, they wouldn't be seen. So if that's the idea, that we want to put more sort of ground level stuff, then what I've gone with now is, well, there's one of two things. We can either keep it like this and go with bigger planting around the edge, or what I've actually done now is created a little return wall that goes right to the garage here. And originally I had in mind that this planting bed along this garage would just gradually, it would just take its natural slope, and I was going to contain it across here, and that's where my wall was going. But now I'm thinking the other option is that we go straight over to the garage and we actually terrace this border, and then we can drop down or even get rid of that surround wall altogether and just go down like so. So that's the kind of option. Let's go back up. So go back up like that. What I'm going to do, it takes a little while to render, but I've put in some planting shapes. So I've put in as if we were having a mix of tall and some ground level plants. So it takes a little while for my computer to think about it. Boomf, there we go. Actually, let me take it off and spin it around at a better angle. It really clunks up the model with the planting because there's so many graphics, but let me just go at that angle. Right, now I'll put the planting for you. There. So hopefully you can see, you can't see because of these trees. Let me just hide one or two of these so that you can get a better view. Let me just hide that one. Just very slow because of all this plant rendering. But anyway, here we can see a sort of multi-stemmed here behind. I thought that would be nice to have something to knock off that corner there of the garage. It would be nice to have a big climber up against this little bit of fencing as a nice backdrop. I haven't put one in yet at the moment just because I couldn't find a good graphic. But then if we had low things like lavender, alliums, tulips, you know, salvias and things, low growing plants, then as you can see, and you're absolutely right, they would be hidden. So it would actually be more cost effective anyway to just take that away. I mean, you could have a little low ridge if you wanted, but then there's no need for it really. If we get the levels right and we take it right down like that, then we are completely using just the natural lay of the land. Let's see if we can swing this round. It does get a bit chunky, I'm afraid, with the planting, but let's have a look. Just thinking about it, there we go. So that might give you a better sense of it there, and that works now because the wall goes right to the garage. So it's two options really. You either have the wall, and that, I guess before it was sort of, you know, we were thinking about the inbuilt bench and we were going to use it to sit on and to have the bench from. You still could, you know, have that wall around, and it could be somewhere to rest your drink, or to sort of, if you had lots of people around, you can sort of sit on it. Or, like you say, saving money on the actual construction and spending your money on, you know, a nice sofa set down there. I guess that's the kind of two options. Let me just take the plants away again and spin this around for you without plants, so you can see the solution is to take this wall right to the garage, and then that works there. You could have a little edging brick on the patio here to create a little border around the edge of that lower patio. But in effect, what we're doing is, you know, just terracing the garden completely. That's such a lovely view. I'm so pleased with this. With your hedges, you know, they give that lovely framework, don't they? Those little clipped box hedges are going to be lush. That's the kind of nice little bit of formality, and then you've got your sort of cottage planting and your exuberant colours and things over and in front of them and behind them. So let me give this another 360 spin around. Now the only then sort of remaining question mark is, again, with the levels, what happens here. I do again have in mind that I think we might have to use this return sort of all the way along. It might have to sort of disappear into the fence here, but for now I've returned it, as we said, straight to the hedge. And if we can backfill, the only thing I'm worried about is obviously this height difference and breaching the fence line here. So you know, it's really hard to tell until we get digging and shifting soil around whether this would be enough of a terrace, and that we just need to deal with this end and that we don't need to do anything terracing wise at that end. But I'm hoping that this, you know, this is quite a good sort of solution really. We get to, you know, terrace the garden down here and sink it down. And yeah, we could lose that wall and just take it right the way across here, and we're simplifying and we're reducing build costs actually, really. So I'm going to give you another final spin, and then I'm going to give you the full effect with all the plants in, and then let me know what your thoughts are. Oh, I've changed this hedgerow here, as you said. It does leave us with a funny little triangle wedge in there, which I wasn't sure about. I wanted to keep the hedging kind of the same width, but you could infill that with hedging and sort of create a little wedge shape of the box hedging without it noticing too much, because that might be a funny little area that nothing will grow in. So that was my only concern there, because we've got all these awkward angles and triangles. Honestly, your garden. The developers were monkeys. Look at the shapes. So that's where we're at. I reduced this paving down, as you said, just jiggled things around a bit, increased the lawn, then shifted the paths over a bit so that they remained the same size. And then let's give you the full effect. Planting in takes a while to think about it because it's a really big model. Oh, and I just need to unhide that extra tree that I had hidden. So let me put him back in there. Right, okay, so there we have it. Let me get rid of this for you and that. Yeah, so this sort of losing that outer wall would give you the chance to do ground level planting. You still will obviously lose some planting behind the sofa, so but you can stagger the height and have some tall things as well. And then I think it would be good to have some screens or something on this wall if we put them just in front, or we can put climbers up it with permission. And then 3 sort of multi-stem trees along the back that we talked about. I've popped in 3 lovely hydrangeas in these big pots here. I think some lovely big white hydrangea, sort of Annabelle or something, big mop head white hydrangeas that do well in the shade. Oh, it's thinking about it again because I moved it. Sorry about this. It does this, rendering. We'll think about it and then it will... Gosh, it's a big model. Right, okay. So yeah, those 3 mop head hydrangeas, as soon as I touch the mouse, it wants to render again. So I will stay away and give you that final shot there of the garden. Actually, what I'm going to do is take the plants off again, spin it around so that you can see your new views from the patio. And I think that will be that'll be the last thing. So let me just take plants out again and give you a little spin down here. Oh, that's my doggy shifting around. Right, let me just give you your main kitchen view because I think that's rather lovely. There. So this little area down the back of the garden is going to be sort of hidden, you know, and sort of feel nice and secluded and private. You've got the hedging around there, so yeah, let me know what you think and then I will draw up your final plans for you and move on to planting plan. Okay, sorry about my scratching dog. He's got problems with his ears because we went into the water. Lukey, come on boy, leave those alone. Thank you. Always decides to have a scratch when I'm recording. Anyway, we'll speak soon, Emma, and yeah, draw up the final plans after I hear from you. Okay, bye for now.